Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes Hong Kong to end stock market closures during typhoons from July. Charlie Munger's wisdom on crypto poison shows investment experience counts. Tai Chi Co, Jason Duffner among LIV Golf Promotions 73-player Abu Dhabi field. Hong Kong stocks near one-year low as JP Morgan, HSBC struggle into 2024. Asia shares start deck on cautious note, oil nurses losses. Hong Kong to end stock market closures during typhoons from July. Bloomberg. Charlie Munger's wisdom on crypto poison shows investment experience counts. South China Morning Post. Charlie Munger, the longtime business partner of Warren Buffett, has died at the age of 99. He was famous for his one-liners and his belief in the importance of experience in investment. Munger advocated for a buy-and-hold investment strategy rather than constantly trying to time the market. He famously described Bitcoin as rat poison and said trading in and out of assets was speculation rather than investment. His investment philosophy was in stark contrast to the world of cryptocurrency exchanges, which have recently been exposed for their dodgy dealings and lack of value. Tai Chi Co, Jason Duffner among LIV Golf Promotions 73-player Abu Dhabi field. South China Morning Post. Jason Duffner, former PGA Championship winner, has been announced as one of the participants in the LIV Golf Promotions tournament in Abu Dhabi on December 8 to 10. Duffner has fallen to 543rd in the official World Golf Ranking and has not posted a top 10 finish since 2019. Other notable players in the field include Victor Dubuisson, Max Kennedy, Ryan Griffin, and Samson Yoonha. The tournament will be held over 4 rounds across 3 days, with the top 3 finishers being drafted onto an LIV Golf League team. Hong Kong stocks near one-year low as JP Morgan, HSBC struggle into 2024. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks fell to a one-year low after JP Morgan and HSBC predicted another challenging year ahead due to economic headwinds. The Hang Seng Index dropped 0.4% to 16,981.32, the lowest level since November 2015. The tech index also fell 1.1% and the Shanghai Composite Index lost 0.3%. Foreign investors have pulled out of the A-share market for a 4th consecutive month, extending a record exodus to 129 billion Chinese yuan, $18 billion, amid lack of confidence in the strength of China's recovery. Asia shares start deck on cautious note, oil nurses losses. Reuters. Asian shares have recorded a fall after a strong November on the back of concerns that Europe and the US will cut rates to ease pressure on local currencies and central banks. The MSCI Asia-Pacific Index fell 0.5% after gaining 7.3% in November. Chinese shares fell 0.6% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 0.4%. China Life and NCI partner in $7 billion fund for stock investments. Nikkei Asia. China Life Insurance and New China Life Insurance, NCI, are planning to establish a 50 billion Chinese yuan, $7 billion, private fund to invest in publicly traded stocks. The move is in response to Beijing's call for insurance funds to help stabilize the volatile market. The fund will invest in well-governed and financially stable listed companies, operating on market principles. JP Morgan, HSBC see long winter ahead for Chinese stocks. South China Morning Post. Chinese stocks are likely to face a difficult period in the near future as the ongoing property crisis risks economic recovery, according to analysts and money managers. the market is expected to remain volatile and range-bound in the absence of strong catalysts, making long-term investors hesitant to return. Despite recent policy support from Beijing, analysts suggest that a recovery is not likely in the short term. The MSCI China Index has lost 11.7% this year and is set for its third year of decline, the longest losing streak in over 20 years. Uneasy calm pervades Chinese stocks as traders lack conviction. Bloomberg. Investors are showing a lack of urgency in buying or selling Chinese equities, resulting in calm market swings. The MSCI China Index reached a low in November and there has been little volatility in the market. The lack of activity indicates that investors are not rushing to turn positive on Chinese stocks, despite policy support from officials. Actively managed global mutual fund exposure to Chinese stocks is at its lowest level in a decade. What is Mycoplasma pneumonia, the illness driving an outbreak in Ohio? Yahoo! An Ohio county is experiencing a pediatric outbreak of pneumonia, including a number of cases of Mycoplasma pneumonia, the illness that has driven recent outbreaks among children in Denmark and China. Victoria is seeing a COVID surge. What will Australia's summer look like? ABC. Australia is experiencing a wave of COVID-19 cases for the third summer in a row, with more people contracting the virus in the lead-up to Christmas. The number of people in Victorian hospitals with COVID-19 has been steadily rising in recent weeks, and there are currently high COVID-19 viral loads in Victorian wastewater. The dominant variant in Victoria is EG.5, which has been growing in prominence across the globe for the latter half of the year. However, the 30-cent sublineage of Eris is now on the rise in Victoria. The World Health Organization has stated that there is no reported change in disease severity with these variants. While Australia is currently living with a dangerous strategy where vulnerable people are left to protect themselves, the Burnet Institute head said that rapid antigen tests are still very effective and an important part of the COVID-19 testing arsenal. Vaccination is one of the key ways to prevent serious illness after contracting COVID-19, and booster shots are recommended. First FT, Chinese manufacturing activity contracts in sign of economy losing steam. Financial Times. China's manufacturing activity contracted for the second consecutive month in November, indicating that the country's economy is losing momentum. The official Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, PMI, came in at 49.4 in November, below the median forecast of 49.8 and slightly lower than the October reading of 49.5. A reading below 50 indicates a contraction in manufacturing activity. The non-manufacturing PMI remained in positive territory at 50.2 but was the lowest reading since December 2020. The services industry component of the non-manufacturing PMI registered a contraction at 49.3, down from 50.1 in October. The weak data comes after better-than-expected GDP growth of 4.9% in Q3, raising hopes of a recovery. However, analysts are now predicting that China's economy will weaken again at the end of this year and into 2024. Dow finishes November at 2023 high. Wall Street Journal. U.S. stocks have recorded their best month since October 2022, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average rising to a 2023 high, while bonds posted their largest monthly gain in years. The gains followed data showing Americans slowed their spending and inflation eased in October, boosting expectations that the Federal Reserve will not raise rates further. The rally in stocks was led by sectors sensitive to borrowing costs and those reliant on consumer discretionary spending. Sino-US conflict, China crash? Xi-Biden dialogue suggests otherwise. SCMP opinion. Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Joe Biden held their first face-to-face meeting in a year on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, leaders meeting in San Francisco. The meeting was seen as a positive step towards toning down the rhetoric of conflict between the two nations. It is important for dialogue to take place to prevent unintended conflict and to promote understanding between the two countries. The meetings were considered a success, with several agreements reached, and there is a genuine desire for a stable and healthy economic relationship between the US and China. Hit cookbook explores the multi-ethnic roots of Taiwanese cuisine. Nikkei Asia. Taiwanese cuisine is a reflection of the island's diverse culture and complex history. The cuisine is a fusion of different influences, including Chinese, Japanese, and indigenous Austronesian traditions. Taiwanese food writer Clarissa Wei explains that Taiwanese cuisine cannot be simply classified as a subset of Chinese food, as it has its own distinct identity. However, the cuisine faces challenges as China seeks to assert political control over Taiwan, leading to concerns about the island's autonomy and future. Wei's recent cookbook, Made in Taiwan, aims to provide a nuanced overview of the island's culinary identity. The book highlights the foodways and traditions of Taiwan's indigenous groups, such as the Austronesian tribes, and pays homage to the influence of other groups like the Hakka. It also explores the impact of Japanese colonization on Taiwan's food culture, such as the introduction of essential condiments like soy sauce and rice vinegar. The book aims to showcase the diversity and evolution of Taiwanese cuisine, going beyond the commonly known dishes like beef noodle soup and bubble tea. Wei believes that there is a need for a comprehensive outlook on Taiwanese cuisine and hopes to provide a snapshot of what it is like today. That's all for today's news from the 6 Degrees World. I'm Dr. Six, your resident observer, bringing you the latest updates from around the globe. In Hong Kong, the stock market is set to end its closures during typhoons, a move aimed at reviving turnover on the exchange. Meanwhile, the passing of Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime business partner, reminds us of the importance of experience in investment. Munger famously referred to Bitcoin as rat poison and emphasized the value of a buy and hold strategy. In the world of golf, former PGA Championship winner Jason Dufner will be participating in the LIV Golf Promotions Tournament in Abu Dhabi. And in finance, JP Morgan and HSBC predict a challenging year ahead for Hong Kong stocks, while Chinese stocks face a difficult period due to the ongoing property crisis. Moving to Asia, shares start December on a cautious note after a strong November, with concerns over rate cuts and currency pressures. And in China, China Life and NCI plan to establish a $7 billion fund to invest in publicly traded stocks, responding to Beijing's call for insurance funds to help stabilize the market. Shifting gears, a pediatric outbreak of Mycoplasma pneumonia is occurring in Ohio, while Australia experiences a wave of COVID-19 cases for the third summer in a row. The dominant variant in Victoria is EG.5, but the 30-cent sublineage of Eris is now on the rise. However, the World Health Organization has stated that there is no reported change in disease severity with these variants. Economically, China's manufacturing activity contracted for the second consecutive month in November, suggesting a loss of momentum in the country's economy. On the other hand, U.S. stocks had their best month in over a year, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average reaching a 2023 high. In international relations, Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Joe Biden held their first face-to-face meeting in a year, signaling a positive step towards toning down the rhetoric of conflict between the two nations. And finally, Taiwanese cuisine is explored in a new cookbook called Made in Taiwan, which highlights the multi-ethnic roots of the island's culinary traditions. That's all for today's news recap. Remember, investing is like playing golf during a typhoon, sometimes you just have to weather the storm and keep swinging. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep those questions coming. What are your thoughts on today's news? Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.